Clang, clang, clang with the trolleys. Ding, ding, ding with the bells. Ding a dang dong with the church bells. But the assholes say they can't, because a groom can't marry a groom, and a bride can't marry a bride. It's unbelievable, they say. It's a sin, they say. But to hell with them, I say. Because one thing's for sure, they don't follow a damn thing they impose onto me. When they ask what it looks like to not practice what you preach, I draw a picture of them. They say don't get tattoos. The pastor wears a frickin' see-through shirt at service and we can all see a tattoo of a middle finger below his right nipple. They say don't live with your partner before marriage because thou shalt not commit adultery. I can name 8 unmarried couples who sleep together in this Bible group alone. You always say we need to form community, but what did you do at the last gathering? I asked if I could sit with you and your boyfriend, and you got up with him, sat in a corner, and ate cake by yourselves. They say thou shalt not bear false witness. I can't name one time they told me the truth. I say, the Lord will let a sweet queer person into heaven much sooner than a cisgender asshole. I say same love is just as important as any love. I say Jesus was not a homophobe. I say a same-sex couple has more right to be together than a straight couple who hate each other. They tell me to say no to a same-sex wedding. I say, good, we didn't want you there anyways. The day I have a child, I want them to drive. I know it sounds insane. A little tot getting on a silver Chevrolet driving 80 miles an hour on Shiloh 161 praying that they don't get a ticket or rear-end someone. But hear me out. I want my little tot to be free. I want them to go places. I don't want them to be like me, driving back to the same house for the last 27 years. Unlike the lucky ones, I was never blessed with parents who constantly traveled around the world or constantly had out-of-state jobs. I once knew a kid in middle school from Canada who, before coming to our humble little town, lived in Sweden, South Africa, Italy, Portugal, Japan, Thailand, China, Azerbaijan, and 48 other states. And literally 2 weeks after I met him, he moved again. I never even had the wits to earn enough scholarship to study out of state, my punishment for dropping out of international baccalaureate, which is why I will always envy kids who studied abroad in Denmark. I, for one, considered it lucky to get out of town once in a while. A trip to Charleston or Omaha, I had to earn it myself. The biggest drawback about everything being bigger here is that you can drive 9 hours in any direction and you'd still be in the same state. I've never even said a genuine aloha in my life, and every time I say y'all, I get angry. That's why I will wait until I'm ready. When I can easily afford bills, when I can get you fancy trinkets, when I can get my own freedom, and especially when I can let you drive where you want. I don't want this state to be your one and only home. The world is your home. So, little tot, drive away. I wish childhood friendships worked like the movies. You and several other unpopular kids meet at school or at a church. You don't do anything that remarkable per se, and yet, you and those childhood friends become attached to the hips, all the way through college. But is life really like the movies? Was that the case with my childhood friends? I met my neighbor Jeff in a Chinese church that my parents forced me to go to, not only to mix with other Asians, but because that church offered Mandarin lessons. Did I communicate with mom and dad that I didn't want to do it? That I wanted to learn Japanese instead? Yes. Did they listen to me? Of course not. My neighbor Jeff and his little brother took the same Mandarin class I did, but his parents were smart enough to make him start learning at the critical language acquisition ages of 7 and 4. and my parents never put me in until I was almost 13. Did I struggle and get much lower grades than Jeff and his brother? Yes. Was that where my resentment towards my parents began? Yes. My parents made the critical mistake of mixing around Jeff's parents and the other Asian parents as well. One of the worst things Asian parents do is go on and on and on about their kids' accomplishments. How they met the president, how they never had a single B in their Ivy League schools, how they each won the Nobel Peace Prize with their science fair projects, and how they can sing, dance, and play 37 instruments at the same time. Because those parents don't have a damn thing going on for themselves. As a student, I was struggling to maintain an AB honor roll, barely kept my head above water in public school honors classes, and was only in the second best band at second chair. I didn't only envy Jeff's accomplishments, but his upbringing as well. Jeff grew up in the more ideal parts of the Dallas area with parents who earned a healthy income, who could get him fancy TVs, expensive vacations, and resources to beat the competition. He had a healthy grandmother who could fly in every year from Indonesia to watch over him and his brother. I, on the other hand, grew up in a close-minded, backwards town of Corsicana, in a house that my college student dad could barely afford, relied on sketchy babysitters who not only abused me in ways I still remember to this day, but also made us play with dry Play-Doh and sleep with creepy crawly things. My grandmother became too sick to travel to take care of me and never got to see me grow up. So all our vacation funds were spent on going to Singapore to visit her. This isn't Jeff's fault, but I was jealous he had a healthy grandmother who could be there with him whenever and wherever he wanted. Even when I became an adult, Mom would hang out on the weekends with those typical Asian tiger moms. Mom would come home and go on and on and on about how my so-called childhood besties got into MIT, ranked valedictorian in their whole class, and got onto Broadway, while she told me she had to stay quiet and couldn't say much about me. That got to me, because I was working a stressful, shitty job at a shitty company trying to earn money, build myself up, and make them proud, and even at my best, it still wasn't enough. Jeff was, of course, beating me in the adult game as well. By studying out of town, had parents who were willing to pay for college dorms with roommates, got study abroad deals in Singapore, and got internships in Chicago and Denver, whilst I had to study locally in community college, stayed at home until my late 20s, and took an internship that forced me to change majors. Then came the fatal day I found out that Jeff's little brother, who was a decade younger than I am, got into Harvard. Are you kidding me? I could take them being valedictorian, out-of-state internships, and studying abroad in a country that I visited more times than I could count to visit my sick grandmother. But getting into fricking Harvard, my dream school, the dream I had to abandon because I dropped out of my AP courses and failed several AP exams, that was the moment I broke. I couldn't like Jeff, his brother, and especially his damn tiger mom, who made not only my mother, but me as well, feel inadequate as humans compared to Jeff and his brother's thousands and thousands of accomplishments. I had to work on my envy in therapy to save my mind and soul. I had to remind myself that I wasn't put on earth for my mom to compete with those damn tiger moms. I wasn't put on earth for dad to make shitty Facebook brag posts. I don't even want to beat Jeff and his brother. I was put on earth to find my own success, my own journey, and find my own path. Because I make my own success, my own journey, my own path. The first step is leaving here, to grow, to become the person I never thought I'd be. My envy, my resentment, and my insecurities, I had to learn how to let them go. Trust me when I say it's much easier said than done. But I learned that life is not fair, but it's how it is. And you must remind yourself that it's not your fault. Those who struggle grow more than anyone who has the easy way out. You have your own timeline, your own goals, and especially your own journey. My journey, though later in life, is just beginning.